What if I told you that you could build substantial wealth and own numerous properties, even on an average salary, just like I did, starting from nothing? Discover the unconventional strategies I'd employ to invest in 2026, even if it feels impossible right now. Let's start by discussing what many consider the worst approach: saving. I know this sounds counterintuitive because we're often told to save for a rainy day. However, I consider this a financially limiting mindset, and while it might sound outrageous, it is fiscally irresponsible. You will never save your way to success. So, how do we invest on an average salary? By doing exactly that, investing. The only beneficial aspect of a saver's mentality is the discipline of scrutinizing your monthly expenses. Grab a spreadsheet and review your spending from the last 3 months. Ruthlessly cut out all unnecessary expenditures. I'm talking about your daily coffees, takeaway lunches, and anything in between. You might even need to cancel that streaming subscription if you're serious about freeing up capital for investment. We must mitigate these outgoings so we can begin to invest. The crucial point is that money sitting in your bank account is losing value due to inflation. You simply won't save your way to success. Now that we've addressed the challenging realities, let's focus on the positives, starting with an essential investing mindset: pay yourself first. This philosophy is paramount. Let's consider the average gross salary in the UK, which is approximately £39,000 annually. This figure represents the median, the true middle ground, although it comes with many caveats regarding location, age group, and excluding business owners. Don't worry if you earn significantly more or less, the principles I'm about to share apply universally. This average salary roughly equates to £2,400 per month after taxes. Most people, especially early in their financial journey, tend to live month to month, spending freely, and if there's £50 left at the end, it's often spent on leisure. Even those who are financially conscious might think, "I'll invest that £50. That's not the most effective approach. This is where Parkinson's Law comes into play: work expands to fill the time available for its completion. Think back to school or university. If you had 8 weeks for an essay, most likely, you wrote it the night before. No essay truly takes 8 weeks, and no exam requires months of study. Yet, Parkinson's Law dictates that the task will consume the allotted time. How does this apply to your money? Simply put, how much you spend is directly correlated with how much money you have. While this sounds obvious, many don't truly grasp its implications. Here's the exercise: on payday, immediately remove an agreed-upon amount, perhaps £150, £300, or even £500. You might be thinking, "Jamie, I earn £20,000 a year, there's no way I can do this." I assure you, if you are earning money, you can. My honest advice is to take 10% out of your next paycheck, immediately. Your first month will be challenging. You might run out of money with a week left. That's okay. Eat inexpensive meals for that week. You'll adapt. The next month, do it again. You'll start scrutinizing your bank statements. Am I paying £60 a month for my phone when I'm out of contract and could get it for £15? Am I paying for 2 streaming services when I only need one? I guarantee you can strip back your expenses. Some of you might feel like victims, thinking, "You don't understand my situation." Perhaps I do. I grew up with a single mom. My father passed away when I was 13, and we were on benefits for most of my childhood. Yet, we still managed to save and invest some money. You can do the same. Do not make excuses. The "pay yourself first" mentality is key, and the ultimate goal is to reach 20%. While that can be more challenging, aiming for 10% to 15% will help you cultivate an investor's mindset and start building wealth. The question you should be asking isn't, "Can I do this?" because the answer is unequivocally yes. You simply set up a direct debit for the second of the month if you get paid on the first, and the money is automatically transferred. I promise you, within 3 months, you'll find it manageable, even if it's tight sometimes, knowing your money is being invested. The real question is, where do you invest, and how much money can you make? Let's look at some projections. We'll focus on investing in the S&P 500, which has a long-term average annual return of 9%. For those aged 55 or younger, I highly recommend setting up a lifetime stocks and shares ISA, LISA. A common misconception is that a LISA can only be used for property, but this is incorrect. You can absolutely use it for stocks and shares, contributing up to £4,000 per year. If you find it difficult to invest large sums, a stocks and shares LISA is your number one priority, bar none. Not only can you invest in the S&P 500, the top 500 US companies, which historically average 9% over the long term, but the government also provides a guaranteed 25% top-up on your annual contributions. There is no other investment that offers a guaranteed 25% return in year one. Another common mistake is believing you can only withdraw LISA funds for a property purchase. This is also false. Once you reach retirement age, which is currently 60, you can withdraw the money penalty-free and use it for anything you wish. If you're investing more than £4,000 a year, then a standard stocks and shares ISA is the next step. Let's explore the power of compounding. We'll look at scenarios where you start investing at age 20, 30, 40, 50, and 65, all the way up to age 70, investing £150, £300, and £500 per month. Every single one of you should aim for a minimum of £150 a month. Even if you're only earning £150 a month, live at home, beg or borrow if you must, but start cultivating that investing mentality. The younger you are, the better. Warren Buffett, one of my favorite investors, when asked why he was so much better than others, famously said, "I'm not. There are far better investors out there, but I'm just older than most people." He then explained, seriously, that he started 60 years earlier. This is the compound effect, often called the eighth wonder of the world. If you know how to use it, you win; if you don't, you lose. It's simple, money grows on money. If you have £100,000 and earn 10%, you have £110,000. But the next year, you don't just earn another £10,000, you earn 10% on £110,000, making it £11,000. The following year, you earn 10% on £121,000, which is £12,100 in interest. These might seem like small increments, but when plotted on a graph, the curve shoots upwards exponentially. That is the compound effect. Let's examine the numbers, assuming a 9% annual return and reinvestment of any dividends, much like rent from a property. I haven't focused on property yet on this channel, which is typically about property investment, because this is the foundational step I would take to build enough capital to then invest in property, where you can potentially make even more money. First, consider starting at age 65. It's the least exciting scenario because you only have 5 years of growth, but it still demonstrates the beginning of the compound effect. If you invest £9,000 over 5 years, you'll have £11,000. Investing £18,000 yields £22,000. Many people look at these initial numbers and find them uninspiring. The irony is, the older you get, the more you wish you had started sooner. So, if you are fortunate enough to be 15, 20, 25, or 30, please take this seriously and start now. Even if you can only put away £10 a month, begin today, because you're about to see the true power. Now, let's look at starting at age 60, giving you 10 years of growth. If you invest £18,000 in total, you'll have £29,000. That's a decent gap. But consider starting 10 years earlier, at age 50. While you've invested double the amount, £36,000, you now have £100,000. You've more than tripled your initial investment. This is where it starts to get exciting. If you're under 50, prepare to be amazed. If you started at 50, investing £500 a month, which most of you can do if you commit to it, you'd have £334,000 by the time you realistically retire. That's a comfortable sum, on top of any pension you might have. Now, for those who started at age 40, you've been investing for 30 years. Your total invested amounts are £54,000, £108,000, and £180,000 for the respective monthly contributions. And what do you have? A staggering £274,000, £549,000, and £915,000. If you're not excited yet, especially if you're 30, then nothing will excite you. This is the immense power of compounding. Let's ramp it up further. If you started at age 30, you've now invested for 40 years. With £72,000 invested, you've made £702,000. With £144,000 invested, you have £1. 4 million. And with £240,000 invested, you're looking at £2. 34 million. Notice the exponential growth here. I once shared a video about my net worth growth from -33,000 to £10 million in 9 years, and you could see that same exponential curve. Finally, for the lucky 20-year-olds, if you invested just £150 a month since age 20, never increasing it, putting it into the S&P 500 in an ISA, not even accounting for the government's 25% LISA uplift, you would have £1. 75 million. If you've never seen this before, you might think it's unbelievable, but check the calculators yourself. Investing £180,000 would yield £3. 5 million, and £300,000 would grow to £5. 8 million. Time truly is your greatest ally. Now, let's discuss how you can make truly significant money. While the numbers from long-term investing are staggering, many find them hard to believe as a reality for themselves. However, it absolutely can be if you take consistent action. While these figures are amazing, you will earn significantly more by investing in yourself. I believe the single best investment you can ever make, above all else, is in yourself. As Alex Hormozi cleverly puts it, instead of investing in the S&P, invest in the SME, meaning, yourself, the small to medium enterprise. It might sound a bit cliché, but you are your most valuable asset. Why might you be earning an average salary? Often, it's because your skills are average. Of course, this also depends on your job and age. The average salary for a 20-year-old is different from the overall average. So, don't be discouraged by the £39,000 figure. Earning more takes time and comes from investing in a skill. My recommendation, and what I did, is to develop a service-based skill. This could be marketing, sales, consulting, systems, or even AI. There are countless valuable skill sets, yet many are unwilling to invest in them. In British culture, we complete school, some go on to university, accumulating significant debt, and then often feel done with education. This is insane. I've invested over £1 million in my own education and development, and that's why I continue to generate income. You can choose what's right for you. For me, because I get bored easily, I needed a diverse skill set. If I only focused on ads, I'd be decent but bored. The same applies to copywriting or just video creation. Our attention spans are generally shrinking, and I found that I genuinely enjoy learning and developing myself, much like you, since you're still watching this video. So, what did I do? First, I picked a sector that addressed a need, not a want. When there's a need, demand will always exist, even if prices fluctuate. Second, I looked for history and data. My chosen sector has almost 1,000 years of evidence, dating back to the Doomsday Book. While the past doesn't guarantee the future, it's a strong indicator. Third, I wanted clients with money. Given a choice between 1,000 customers with £500 in their bank or 1,000 with £100,000, you'll always choose the wealthier clients because selling to them generates more income. So, I asked myself, what sector is a need, has centuries of data, and guarantees clients with a certain amount of money? That's how I landed on property. Specifically, I started with -33,000 in credit card and personal loan debt, not an ideal start for property investment. I realized I needed skills, exposure to investors and vendors, to build my network, and to surround myself with people who had a different mindset about money. I decided to approach property as a service. I looked at the most common service-based industry in property, estate agency. Estate agents have a fundamental problem: their income isn't primarily from property expertise, but from listing properties on portals that attract buyers. While this is efficient for them, I didn't want to build a service based on, you can't do it yourself, so pay me. I wanted to flip that on its head. Estate agents represent the sellers. What if I represented the investors? I could leverage the 1,000 years of data and the fundamental need for property, learning what constitutes a good property investment so that investors could acquire homes for others. This led to deal packaging. How could I package an excellent property deal that made perfect sense for an investor, and earn a fee for it? I realized a team was essential: a solicitor, a mortgage broker, a refurbishment team or project manager, a lettings company, and an accountant. The only missing piece was someone to find the properties, me, or more importantly, you. The idea was to assemble this team, and my role was to learn what makes a good property, i.e., what good investment criteria look like. Why wouldn't investors just find these properties themselves on online platforms? Because these are often busy professionals, accountants, doctors, dentists, business owners, who often live remotely from where they invest. They lack the time and the specialized knowledge. They'd rather pay a fee for someone to do the work for them. So, I started charging an average of £5,000. We would agree on the investment criteria up front, and they would pay me a sourcing fee. This seemed reasonable. I would then search for properties, negotiate prices, and connect them with my network of experts. In my first year, starting from -33,000 working an average of 10 hours a week alongside my full-time £18,000 a year job, I made £143,000. The irony. I made £143,000 from property that year without buying a single house myself. This was because I invested in me. If you're in a situation where you want to take more control of your life and not wait 30, 40, or 50 years to achieve financial freedom, then investing in yourself is paramount. I hope this has been valuable. Learning these principles took me from -33,000 to a multi-8-figure entrepreneur within 10 years. Ultimately, if I were on an average salary today, this is exactly how I would invest in 2026.